Okay, in this video we're going to be taking a look at our Inclass Lab. We're going to look at the section using Excel. So again, we were doing the body weight and backpack weight. So we give you some instructions where to type everything in and where to calculate. So I'll just describe it as I type it in. So it says in A1 to type body weight. Let's remember that this is our X variable or explanatory. And then we'll have backpack weight. This is our response variable, which looks like our Y. All right. So I'll go ahead and put these weights in. And then our backpack weights. So as we saw, this was a general trend upwards. As the body weight increased, the backpack weight also increased. All right, so now I got those in. And then we're going to do some calculations. So it says in A11, type X bar, and SX, Y bar, and then SY. And then we'll go down here, calculate R. And then we're going to calculate A and B for our least squares regression lines. That's the slope and the y-intercept. So for X bar, this is going to equal the average of our body weights. SX is going to equal the standard deviation, and it's going to be the standard deviation dot S for sample standard deviation. Again, this is going to be our body weights. Okay. Y bar is going to be our average of our Y values or backpack weights. Okay. And sample standard deviation. Again, the dot S for sample. That's going to be our backpack weights. Okay. To calculate R, we said we use the function CORL. And we have to select two columns, X and our Y's. And again, it doesn't matter which column you use for X and Y. We'll just keep the X the first one, Y the second one. We can see that's 0.79. So remember A, our formula, this is going to equal R times the standard deviation of Y divided by standard deviation of X. Okay? And then for our y-intercept, that is going to equal Y bar minus slope times X bar. Okay, so these are the same numbers that we found previously using R. Again, just looking at the values or the formulas, you got them right there. You can pause if you need to. All right. So the next thing it asks us to do is insert the scatter plot of our X and Y's. So we'll go ahead and select those two columns of data. We'll go to Insert. Under Charts, we'll hit the scatter plot, and we'll just do the points. We'll go ahead and add a title. So this is backpack weight. Backpack weight versus body weight. Okay. Now I'm going to come down and click on our X labels and right click and format axis, because I don't want to have all that white space on the left, so I'm going to change my minimum to 100. Okay. And I want to go ahead and right click on the data points, and I'm going to go to add trend line. It's going to be my least square resistance line. This is linear. And I also want to check off display equation on chart and display R value, R squared value on chart. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm actually going to make it a little bigger. Let's make it red too. All right. See if I can get this to fit here. Oop. All right. So I did want you to go ahead and make a screenshot of this, everything we see here, and you can paste that into the answer sheet. All right, next I want to go ahead and select A1 through A9, Control-C to copy, and come down to A21 and hit paste. So this will paste from A21 to A29. Then over here at B21, we're going to write prediction, and then we're going to write residuals. Oops. All right. So for predictions, we're going to use a formula. Now you got to be careful. Remember about the absolute versus relative cell references. So this is our y hat equation. So that's going to equal A. And again, we're going to go ahead and F4, put those dollar signs in. You can manually type them in if you need to. That's going to be an absolute cell reference because we use that same value of A for all our predictions. And then we're going to do times, and we use the X value, so we're going to use this one over here. Again, we'll keep that as a relative cell reference, so that when we drag it down, it will change, increment each time. And then plus B. And again, this is an absolute cell reference. Okay. And I can just hit enter to enter that. And just remember, the residuals is going to be the difference between the actual and the prediction. So this is going to equal, and we'll come up here to our actual first one, which is 26, and then subtract, and come down here and hit our prediction. Okay, so we see the difference is negative 1.16. Now I can highlight both these, and in the lower right-hand corner here, you see that little square. When I put my mouse over, I get that thin plus sign. So I'm going to go ahead and left click and then drag it down. That carries the formula. So those are all my predictions and residuals. And then I can go ahead and highlight my residuals, and I can insert a plot, a scatter plot of that. Okay. Again, maybe I'll change the title to residuals. Okay. Again, you can see them up and down around the line, y equals 0. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this new information and place it into your answer key. All right. So now you want to calculate R squared. So to do that, the first thing we want to look at, I guess we'll put this in A32. We'll type square resid. What's that square res? I'll type residuals. And then next to it, we'll type square total. That's going to be the difference between our y value and our mean of y. So the square residuals is going to be easy because we got them right here. So we'll just do equals, and we'll click on our first residual, and I'll raise that to the second power. Okay. And then for square total, again, that's going to be the difference of our actual value, so up here 26, minus our y bar, which again, we're going to want to use that same value in all our equations. So we'll go ahead and hit F4 to get the absolute cell reference. Okay. All right. And that, oh, we do want to square that though. So I'm going to come back up to this equation, put parentheses around the difference, and I'll raise it to the second power. There we go. Now we have 8 data points, so we're going to scroll this down. That should be 8. Yep. Okay. So those are our squares. What we want to do is get the sum of the squares, right? So I'm going to highlight these 2 data columns and leave a blank spot where I want my totals to go. And I can go over here to auto sum. It's on the home tab in the editing group. And that's automatically going to put my totals down there. All right. So in A43, I'm going to type r squared. Let's remember that our formula was this equals 1 minus, and we're going to do the SSR, which is this first column here, total, divided by SST, which is this 83.875. Okay, and you'll see you get that same value, what you saw up here for r squared. Okay. All right. So again, it asks you to get what we got for r squared, and then it did ask you to compare. Did your slope, y-intercept, and r squared match up what was displayed on the first scatter plot? And yes, it does. Right. So here's our slope, our y-intercept, and our r squared, and that matches up with what we had calculated here, and then what we found for r squared here. All right. So that concludes the Excel portion of the lab. Hope you found this video helpful. Stay tuned for the next one.